Human resources. We find different kinds of resources in a country, such as mineral, water, energy, natural vegetation, and wildlife. But best use of these resources is only possible if human resources of that country are skilled and hardworking. Therefore, population of a country turns into a human resource when it is educated and motivated, as they have abilities to develop resources as per their requirements. Human resources or population are not equally distributed. Only a few places are densely populated, whereas large areas have very less concentration of population. Half of the world's population is living in 5% areas, whereas on 57% land, only 5% population is living. Population density. The spatial distribution of world population is not uniform. There are wide regional variations in the degree of population concentration. Population density refers to number of people living in per square kilometer area. According to population data published by the United Nations in 1991, the average density of population of the world is 38 persons per kilometer square. South Central Asia has the highest density of population, followed by East and Southeast Asia. The population density of India in the year 2001 was 324 persons per square kilometer, which varies from 904 persons per kilometer square in West Bengal to only 13 persons per kilometer square in Arunachal Pradesh. Distribution of population. The single most striking fact about the world population is that it is not uniformly distributed. Moreover, the population distribution has continuously changed in space and time with migration and varying rates of population growth. The way in which people are spread across the Earth's surface is known as the pattern of population distribution. Some areas are very crowded and some are sparsely populated. On the basis of the density, the whole world can be divided into three regions in terms of distribution of population. These are the densely populated areas, the moderately populated areas, the sparsely populated areas. The densely populated areas, fertile river valleys, and the industrialized parts of the world generally have a very high density of population. South and Southeast Asia, Europe, and northeastern North America are included in crowded areas. South Asia includes Indian subcontinent, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and river valleys of Irrawaddy and Mekong. Intensive agriculture, warm climate, and fertile soils are important factors which cause dense population here. China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines are located in Eastern Asia, which accounts 25% of the total population of the world. China has the maximum population in the world. Western Europe is also densely populated due to mineral resources, development of industries, and a suitable climate for human habitation. St. Lawrence River Basin and the areas around Great Lakes in northeastern America are heavily populated due to the development of industries and high standards of living. The moderately populated areas, the delta of river valleys, central part of USA, tropical West Africa, southern parts of Russia, Eastern Europe, Deccan Plateau of India, central China, and some parts of South America have a moderate density of population. In these areas, favorable natural and economic factors attracted people from other regions. The sparsely populated areas, hot deserts, cold deserts, and high mountainous areas are sparsely populated due to the condition of physical environment, especially as climates are not suitable for human habitation, where the development of resources is not possible. The Sahara, Kalahari hot desert in Africa, Arabian, Gobi, Thar Desert, etc. in Asia, the polar lands of Antarctica in the south, and the tundra region in the north, the thickly forested regions of Amazon basin, the Zaire or Congo basin, etc. are sparsely populated due to the unfavorable climatic conditions. Over 70% of the land surface is sparsely populated. Many more people live north of the equator Then south of the equator, almost 3/4 of the world's population lives in two continents, Asia and Africa. 60% of the world's population are inhabiting just 10 countries. All of them have more than 100 million people, that is, Japan, Nigeria, Russia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Brazil, Indonesia, USA, India, and China. Factors affecting distribution of population are geographical factors. These factors include topography, climate, soil, water, minerals, etc. Topography or relief. It affects the distribution of population very much, as people prefer to live on plains because these are flat and level lands and are suitable for agricultural development, transport, settlement, and other commercial activities. Mountains always hinder the economic development due to their uneven topography and are sparsely populated. World's most populated agglomeration, such as China, Japan, India, Bangladesh, Europe, and eastern USA are all located in plains. The Ganga Plains are the most densely populated areas of the world, whereas Himalayan mountains are sparsely populated. Climate. It is the most important factor which affects the population distribution. Areas having temperate climate are densely populated, such as China, Japan, Vietnam, Bangladesh, India, Western Europe, USA, etc. But hot deserts like Sahara, Atacama, Thar Desert, and cold deserts such as Antarctica, North Pole, etc. have very less population due to extreme climate. Soil. Food is the basic need of population, and fertile soil provides plenty of food. So the areas having fertile soils are densely populated. Fertile plains such as that of Ganga and Brahmaputra in India, Huanghe in China, Nile in Egypt, etc. are densely populated. Water supply. Water is the basic biological need of human beings. Water is used for drinking and domestic purposes, industrial purposes, and for irrigation. Therefore, areas having fresh and plenty of water are thickly populated. The river valleys of the world are densely populated, while deserts are sparsely populated. Minerals. Minerals are resources that provide an opportunity for development of industries. Therefore, areas with mineral deposits are more populated. Western and Central Europe are densely populated due to the availability of iron, copper, zinc, and other minerals. The Eastern USA is also densely populated due to the mineral deposits. Stage of economic progress. Due to economic progress of an area, its population supporting capacity increases. If that area has low production of food items, then these items can be imported from foreign countries, and in return, they export manufactured goods from industries. Britain, Germany, Switzerland, etc. are examples of such countries. Social, cultural, and economic factors. Social factors. Areas of better housing, education, and health facilities are more densely populated, namely Pune. Cultural factors. Social customs, beliefs, and attitude towards life also affects the distribution of population. Places with religious or cultural significance attract people. Varanasi, Jerusalem, and Vatican City are a few examples. Before the First World War, Chinese people worshipped the graveyards of their ancestors and did not want to migrate, which caused increase in population in China. Economic factors. Industrial areas provide employment opportunities which attract large number of people to these areas. For example, Osaka in Japan and Mumbai in India are two densely populated areas. Population growth. When man started agriculture, the imperatives for child spacing disappeared and population started growing at a faster rate. It is generally agreed that agriculture and natality go hand in hand. The prime reason for this is the perceived economic value of children in farming families, or children are commonly viewed as economic bonus. They serve as extra hands on the farm and take care of parents in their old age. The distribution of population prior to the development of agriculture, covered only parts of the old continents and numbered only in lakhs. In 1500 AD, the world's population was about 425 million. Today, it has grown to be more than 6 million, with 1 million children being born every day. The rapid growth in population since 1800 AD is largely due to improvements in food production and medical knowledge. In many parts of the world, rapid population growth causes serious problems, such as food shortages and overcrowding in cities. Population change. The population change refers to change in the number of people during a specific time. The world population has not been stable. It has increased manifold due to changes in the number of births and deaths. Until the 1800s, the world population grew steadily, but slowly. Large numbers of babies were born, but they died early too. This was due to lack of health facilities, unavailability of sufficient food, low productivity of food crops. In 1850s, the world's population was estimated to be 1,000 million. 150 years later, in the 1970s, the world's population reached 3 billion. This is often called population explosion. In 1999, the population rose to 6,000 million, and in 2012, it touched 8,000 million. This rapid increase in population is due to these reasons: increase in food productivity and better food supply, reduction in death rate due to improvement in medical facilities, increase in birth rate, doubling time of population, period, population, doubling time, 1650, 500 million, 1850, 1,000 million, 200 years, 1930, 2,000 million, 80 years, 1975, 4,000 million, 45 years, 2012, 8,000 million, 37 years. Components of population change are: birth rate. The number of live births per 1,000 people is referred to as birth rate. Death rate. The number of deaths per year per 1,000 people is called death rate. Natural growth rate. Births and deaths are the natural causes of population change. The difference between the birth rate and death rate of a country is called the natural growth rate. The population rise in the world is mainly due to rapid increase in natural growth rate. Migration. Migration is the movement of people in and out of an area. It is another important way by which population size changes. There is movement of people within a country or between countries. Migration may be of two types: emigration and immigration. Emigration or out-migration. In migration, people leave a country and move towards other countries. Sudan is an example of a country that has experienced a loss in population numbers due to out-migration or emigration. Immigration or in-migration. When people arrive in a country from other countries, it is called immigration. Countries like the United States of America, Australia, Canada, etc. have gained population due to immigration. The general trend of international migration is from the less developed nations to the more developed nation in search of better employment opportunities, and within a country, people mainly move from rural areas to urban areas in search of employment, education, and health facilities. Population growth rate is not uniform throughout the world. Some countries experienced rapid growth, whereas some recorded a slow growth rate. Kenya has high population growth due to high birth rate, as it improved healthcare facilities. In the UK, Australia, etc., population growth is slowing because of both low death and low birth rates. Population composition. To understand the role of people as a resource, we need to know more about their qualities in terms of age, sex, literacy level, health condition, occupation, and income level. These are the important determinants of population composition. Population composition refers to the structure of the population. The composition of population helps us to know how many are males or females, which age group they belong to, how educated they are, and what type of occupations they are employed in, what their income levels and health conditions. Age group. The age composition strongly influences the rate of growth and has profound effects on the social and economic conditions under which a population lives. On the basis of physiological and economic activities, the population is generally classified into 3 age groups: the young, the adults, the old. Sex ratio. The sex ratio is most commonly expressed as the number of females per 1,000 of males. It should be balanced, but we find variation in sex ratio in different countries due to different reasons. For example, in European countries, generally the number of females are more than the number of males, whereas in India, sex ratio is low due to a few social causes. It is only 933 per 1,000 males. Literacy. Literacy has been defined as the ability to read and write with understanding. Literacy reflects the socio-economic and cultural setup of a nation, ethnic group, or community. It has been observed that literacy is higher in urban areas than in rural areas. It is more among males than females. Population pyramid. An interesting way of studying the population composition of a country is by looking at the population pyramid, also called an age-sex pyramid. A population pyramid shows the total population is divided into various age groups, example 5 to 9 years, 10 to 14 years. The percentage of the total population is subdivided into males and females in each of those groups. The shape of the population pyramid tells us about the people. The numbers of children below 15 years are shown at the bottom and reflect the level of births. The size of the top shows the aged people above 65 years and reflects the number of deaths. The population pyramid also tells us how many dependents are there in a country. The population pyramid of a country in which both birth and death rates are high is broad at the base and rapidly narrows towards the top due to the birth of many children, and a large percentage of them die in their infancy. The pyramid is broad in the younger age groups because more infants survive to adulthood due to decrease in death rates. Such population contains a relatively large number of young people, which means a strong and expanding labor force. Future distribution of population. The distribution of the world's population during the next few decades is expected to remain similar to the present pattern. The main reasons may be that the international law and politics do not permit free migration from one country to another. Secondly, the sparsely populated areas have adverse climate and poor resource potential. Prospects for a large-scale expansion of population in the cold, arid, or hot and wet climates seem to be dim. The cold climates, with their short growing seasons and long distances from existing commercial and industrial regions, probably have limited potential for either agriculture or industry. In the arid and desert areas also, the prospects of large population agglomeration are bleak, owing to the non-availability of water for drinking and irrigation. The equatorial rainforests are also not very attractive regions for human habitation. Population in these areas may grow only if agriculture is developed by large-scale felling of forests. The felling of trees may be disastrous from the world's climatic point of view. Optimum population. The distribution pattern and density of population are highly unevenly distributed over the Earth's surface, and the same is the case with natural resources. The pressure of population on the resource base and the available technology determine whether the region is overpopulated or underpopulated. In other words, the extent to which resources are used and the way in which they are used determine whether an area is underpopulated or overpopulated. A country is said to have an optimum population when the number of people is in balance with the available resources. Optimum condition can only be maintained if exploitation of new resources or the development of other forms of employment can keep pace with increase in population. Population problems. The growing pressure of population on resource base, especially on agricultural land, has created many socio-economic, cultural, ecological, and environmental problems. The population problems vary in space and time and differ from region to region. These problems may be more systematically examined if we take the problems of the developed and developing countries separately. Problems faced by developing countries are rapid growth of population, unemployment due to less development of secondary and tertiary sector, poor standard of living, and malnutrition due to lack of financial resources, mismanagement of agricultural resources, slow growth of industrial sector. Problems faced by developed countries are long span of life due to high life expectancy, which increases older people in population, small workforce due to the improved standard of education, children remain longer at school and join the workforce later, expansion of slums in urban areas. The agricultural sector suffers adversely because of the non-availability of workforce in villages, as most of the people move towards cities for better opportunities. Skilled, spirited, and hopeful young people, endowed with a positive outlook, are the future of any nation. We have large human resource in India. This human resource can be converted into qualitative and skillful resource by education. So, they must be educated and provided skills and opportunities to become capable and productive in various